There's really not that many walls. I
so
gotta be honest with you, there's really only 4.
I mean, okay.
Well, the film is R-rated and it's not intended for children.
Ah, but of course children are gonna see it.
Can I finish?
It was so brutal.
Yeah.
And yet it was like a car crash.
Can I finish? Hello? Can I finish?
Well, I go up for the wave, and then I hear like, Candace! And I'm like, fuck.
Can I finish? Please, can I finish? Okay, I finished.
TGIF, everybody. Welcome to the Can I Finish podcast. I'm your host, Billy Mack,
Aw, I'm JR.
and let's start the show. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, you know, nothing really.
Same old stuff, different day.
Yeah,
Cool.
just the real estate world.
Just the real estate world, living it up, you know, trying to flip some houses, trying to be all cool.
No flipping, just trying to get accepted offers.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I went down a really interesting rabbit hole. So, JR knows.
YouTube rabbit hole?
I go through rabbit holes, and it happens to me all the time. And sometimes it's Facebook, sometimes it's YouTube, but I never really know how these end up happening the way that they do, but they just kind of do. I don't know. I just kind of like randomly click videos, and I don't know. I always end up somewhere different. And it's always annoyed me because I always forget to like write them down and things like that. But last night I had a really far one, and like about a week ago I had one, which I sent to you preemptively because I knew I was going to talk about that one. But I want to talk about the one I did last night, and I can't tell you why, but I spent last night watching like 4 hours worth of Magic. Mostly the Penn and Teller Fool Us.
Fool Penn and Teller.
Dude,
That's a good show.
it's
I like
a
that
good show.
I really
bro.
like that show.
Bro, it's a good show.
You know why? What I love the most about that show is that Penn and Teller gives the magician the opportunity to walk away with some dignity.
Right.
Like, if they don't get fooled,
Yeah.
they sit there and they're like, okay, listen, we know how this is done.
Right.
We figured it out.
And then they speak their weird lingo, which I'm going to dive back into in a couple seconds.
So, but they look at the magician and is like, if you think I'm lying,
Right.
I will tell everyone how this magic trick is done.
Right.
Your move.
Right.
And the magician's like,
He's like, how can I fool these guys? They're the best. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, so I'm watching it, right? And all I can think to myself is, first of all, you have to be, let's be honest, you have to be some kind of weirdo to get into Magic, right? There's a weird demographic that goes into Magic. There's a weird demographic, dude. Like, they're weird people.
Yeah, I mean,
For the most part.
weird is a subjective term, though.
They're the weird kid in high school.
But like, the same could be made about comedians.
At least comedians are funny.
Some magicians are hilarious.
If somebody,
Have you seen The Amazing Jonathan?
Penn
Penn and Teller are hilarious.
Well, Penn is funny. Teller doesn't talk.
I've heard Teller speak.
Yeah, well,
He's
have
hilarious.
You? Have you? Well, Teller's actually, I'm actually kind of blown away how funny Teller actually is. Teller's actually hilarious, and that's a talent in his own. Not to speak a single word.
Yeah,
and
be hilarious.
I heard a rumor once. I have no idea if this is true, but the reason why Teller doesn't talk is because he told somebody to like shut up during a scene, and the guy ended up like dying, so he decided like not to talk anymore. You know how like rumors happen.
I have no idea. He talks in everyday life.
Yeah, he talks in everyday life. And, I mean, he's literally talking to Penn as like he's not like a mute.
Right.
Like,
Teller that's just a character.
Right.
And that character doesn't speak.
Right.
Just like Jay and Silent Bob. Like Silent Bob's a character.
Right. But Bob does speak in the movies. He always has like one little line, and then like Jay will get mad at him.
But it didn't start off that way. Wasn't he like completely silent for a couple of Mallrats, and then like Jay and Silent Bob strike back, and he finally breaks his silence?
I think in. Or yeah, maybe you're right actually, because in Dogma he speaks, Jay and Silent Bob he speaks. I can't remember. Clerks is so old, dude.
I feel like he went like a couple of movies of just not speaking.
Yeah.
And then they were like, wouldn't it be
Kevin Smith's
funny?
A cool fucking guy.
Right. But then it was like Kevin Smith was like, wouldn't it be funny if I just said like some outrageous thing? And that was the only thing
not
I
even.
said.
They're not even outrageous. Like in Dogma, I think he's like, okay, thanks. And Jay smacks him. He's like, what?
I thought
I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty
either,
sure I'm right.
It's either Jay and Silent Bob or Dogma, or one of them, where he's just like the only line he has, isn't it? Just like, what the fuck?
I think so. But Teller always tends to be funny, which I think is very impressive.
Their dynamic is fantastic.
Very much so.
Those two have the best dynamic.
Penn's actually a really intelligent guy too.
Very.
Like, I think he's almost too well spoken though. I think that takes a little bit away from him because he's too well spoken.
So I actually had.
I like that you start a subject and then you take a sip.
It's called a dramatic pause. It's a dramatic pause.
Good.
I actually had a conversation about Penn and Teller with somebody else, so this is kind of funny that these are the people you brought up.
That I went to these rabbit holes.
Because I don't know if you remember this, but you know Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah.
How she became the proponent for anti-vaxxing because
Did she really?
Yeah, because her son
What a fucking idiot.
Her son got vaccinated and ended up with some form of autism or something, and then according to her they cured him or something. She cured him or something. I don't know. Some stupid shit.
Okay.
Yeah. So she became the head of the anti-vax movement, and Penn and Teller actually have a YouTube video in response to her. They don't call her out by name but remember.
They allude to her.
Well, it's just essentially the same time period where she was making all these anti-vax videos.
Yeah.
Penn and Teller came out with a vax video, and it's just them in character, full character.
Yeah.
But it's essentially there were a bunch of little, remember the mini dodgeballs? Not it's like
the bouncy ball, but it's
smaller.
smaller.
But like a ball pit. It's bigger than a ball pit ball, but smaller than that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So
but it's still the dodge ball, but it's just
teeny,
smaller.
right.
Yeah, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So there's a bunch of those on the ground.
Yeah,
but they're separated into two sections, and one section has a glass wall.
Yeah.
In front of it, and then the other section doesn't.
Right.
And Penn and Teller are
this ball represents polio,
right, and then they throw it at the glass, and it's oh, look, it bounced off.
Yeah.
And it's oh, man, one got by.
Yeah.
And then they walk over to the other section, and they're this is what happens when you don't anti-vax. And
they
just roll all the balls.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Dude, they're funny people. And then, but also, then I was thinking to myself, magicians have to be one of the most, or should be considered one of the most untrustworthy people.
Well, I mean, their
job is literally
their job is deceiving.
Right, exactly.
Their job is, I need to make you look one way while I do something over here, so that you believe I did something magical.
Right. But one of the craziest or scariest, I should say, magic types are the pickpocket types. Have you seen the guys that steal the watches straight off the
they'll
people's
shake
wrists?
your hand and then you don't have your watch anymore.
Right, and then everybody laughs because the magician will show in the other hand that he has the watch.
One of those guys came to my college.
Dude, fuck that.
They did a show at my college and they were out. So they did two things.
I don't want to be anywhere near those people.
I know. They out in front before the show. They were greeting people as they came in.
No, I don't want to greet you. I don't want to shake your hand.
And then, so we didn't. Nobody knew that it was a pickpocket. It was they were just magicians.
Sure.
And so one of the guys was a pickpocket.
Yeah.
And so the first thing they did was okay, so will the owner of this watch, and then he pulls out a wallet and he's Brian, so and so.
I would be so mad.
And people are just sitting in the audience oh, it's my fucking wallet.
I'd be so mad. I'd be dude, what did you take?
Yes.
You'd be oh no, dude, it's just a magic trick.
So then,
I would be you switched it. You switched my credit card. I don't know what you did.
So then after that, they asked for volunteers.
Yeah.
And they said straight up, they were okay, you're volunteering to come up on stage and get your shit stolen.
Yeah. Fuck that. No.
Not in those words. But they were you're gonna come up on stage and we're gonna rob you.
Yeah.
And so you were this is how a pickpocket, and it was almost this was actually a seminar.
Right.
On how to spot a pickpocket,
right.
if you're going to New York City or whatever the case may be, because people like this exist out in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was almost like
I don't know if I ever told you. I got pickpocketed in Madison Square Garden.
oh no shit.
They stole my wallet right out of my pocket. And you know what's really funny? Well, it's not funny, but like afterwards, once I realized what had happened, like I was like, oh god, my wallet's gone. I knew exactly the second where it happened. Because it's weird, because I remember getting bumped.
Right.
And like a guy throwing a shoulder at me and being like, dude, like what, like that was like completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then like literally an hour later, I was like, oh, where's my wallet? Oh my god, you know.
Right.
Like,
So that's what this was. Is they brought these people up on stage and they literally just looked at them and said, "I'm going to steal your wallet."
yeah.
Like they looked
To
at
make
this
them
dude.
aware.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"I'm gonna steal your wallet."
Yeah.
And so he went through this whole like thing of like saying hi, and the guy was trying to like chase him and turn around and like
Right.
stop him from like
Right.
getting his wallet. And
Right.
the dude just kept he inched his wallet out of his back pocket, like inch by inch over 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Until he finally just had his wallet in his hand.
One of the like cyclone of videos that I watched was a TED Talk of how it's done and how it's like the misdirection of touching. And so like they'll touch your arm, so you feel your arm, but that way you won't notice that someone's undoing your watch on your wrist.
Right, because when they shake your hand, they grab and they do the double shake.
Yeah.
And as they're doing the double shake, they've unclasped your watch.
Yeah, and it slides right off. Dude, I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Like card tricks, mentalist. I'm that guy
I
in the
think
crowd.
the guy,
pick me.
the guy that will steal the metal watch bands.
Yeah.
That's talent.
Yeah.
Because like it's not like you can't just undo a clasp and now it's gone.
Right. Yeah.
Like you have to undo the clasp to loosen it and then slide it off their hand.
Yeah.
Without their knowledge.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
And like for somebody to be able to do that is nuts.
And that's like I don't want to be anywhere near them.
Ever. Oh, I can pay for dinner.
Dude, and this always goes back to like I could never be a person of power. I could never have that capability, because if I was that guy, I would steal your wallet and be like, "Oh, here's your wallet back, but don't notice the credit card that I took from your wallet." You know? I mean, especially because not too many magicians are making that much money.
Do you guys want to see a cool trick?
Yeah.
And then you end up taking their wallet, and it's like, oh, by the way, here's another fun trick.
Yeah. By the way, you actually are in debt now. One of the magicians that was on the show said a line, and it literally bothered me for 30 minutes. Here's the quote exact line. "Do you believe that it is possible to predict the future?" as he addresses the crowd. Then he goes, "Most people say no, but we'll go and check the weather for the weekend." End quote. What? I don't feel like those are like, what?
Makes perfect sense.
What? How? What?
Do you believe it's possible to predict the future? Right.
Right.
Okay. Your answer is no.
No.
Okay. Open the weather app.
Right.
That's predicting the future.
That's using science and a Doppler effect.
Still
and a
predicting the
satellite.
future. It's not 100% accurate,
It's not 100% accurate.
but you're predicting the future.
So, but I don't.
They said it was going to rain today.
Right.
It rained.
Right.
That's predicting the future. That's the epitome of what he's saying.
That makes no sense to me.
How?
Because you're not necessarily. I'm not going, JR, tomorrow you are going to get in a car crash. Predicting a future.
But
I'm
that's
using
not
science
No.
to look at the weather and look at weather patterns.
But that's exactly what he's doing to predict the future. That's what it is. It's not. You're not just making random statements. This guy is talking about predicting the future.
Saying, "Do you believe it's possible to predict the future?" Most people say no, but we'll go and check the weather for the weekend. That to me doesn't make any sense. That line doesn't make any sense.
It makes perfect sense.
It really doesn't.
Most people
though.
would say no, but those same people will check the weather app for the weekend trying to predict the future.
Because you're using a satellite that is in space.
But you're
that's
still
looking at
trying
cloud
to
patterns.
predict the future.
But that's why it doesn't always work, and that's why you always yell at weathermen for being wrong.
But you're
95%.
still trying. The same people that say it's impossible to predict the future still go and look at the weather app.
But that still doesn't make sense.
You're
to
not
me.
understanding what he's saying.
I am understanding what he's saying.
But you're not though, because if you understood what he's saying, you wouldn't be bothered by that.
because it bothers me because that is a broad statement met by a specific example of that specific example doesn't use pure prediction. It's using science.
That's okay. You're still predicting the future. You're reading way too much into this. It's an opening line for a trick.
First of all, you're reading too much into this. I can say things too. Second of all, I understand I'm reading too far into it, and that's what being funny is about.
Is it though?
First of all, it makes no sense.
It makes
that
perfect
line
sense.
makes no sense.
Makes all the sense in the world. 100% sense.
You're using a broad statement, right? The broad statement is that, can you predict the future? Now, that statement can be used 100 different ways. 100 different ways.
Correct.
Now
and that's why it's the opening line for his trick.
Now you're using a specific example, which is the weather for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But the weather for the weekend, isn't it is a prediction, but it's based off a science that you're looking at cloud patterns.
Still a prediction of the future.
I feel like they're completely different. I feel like they're completely
Billy,
different.
do you feel it? He's mind fucking you.
Feeling
He's mind fucking you, Billy.
that tonight's gonna be a good night. And then I found out, did you know that Shin Lin guy has 35 million hits on YouTube?
I don't know who that is.
So Shin Lin started from The Foolish Show. He then went to America's Got Talent, where he won it. And then came back to The Foolish Show for one more performance. Spoiler alert, he fools Penn and Teller both times.
Okay.
So he's Asian American, does really cool card tricks.
I don't like him.
Does really cool card tricks and does a lot of sleight of hand.
Okay.
He uses like smoke in his effects. And they're like very dramatic, but they're pretty cool. And then I was just like blown away that 35 million hits on YouTube from one video. So I guess magic's cooler than I thought it was.
Yes. Well, have you seen the show on Amazon?
I can tell you I haven't because I haven't watched anything on Amazon.
Okay. Magic for like real people or magic for adults or something
Sure.
like that.
I have no idea because I've yet to watch a single thing on Amazon.
That's fair.
Does Amazon have like a lot of good shows?
Did I say Amazon?
You did say
I'm
Amazon.
sorry. I meant Netflix.
I was gonna say it, even though you had an Amazon.
I definitely do.
You have an Amazon Prime account?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally worth every investment, isn't it?
Amazon Prime, Amazon Video, Amazon Music.
So good.
You get like a free trial to Audible for a little while, so you can get some ebooks.
Sure, why not?
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but once you get the Audible books, don't you then have to purchase the book though? So you have to pay for the subscription and the book. Isn't that how that works?
No. So the way Audible works is you have a subscription that you pay every month.
Yeah.
That subscription, I think there might be tiers. I haven't had an Audible subscription in a while.
Yeah.
But essentially you get 1 credit
Yeah.
every month. And that credit can be used to purchase a book. If you want to buy more books, you have to buy more credits.
So
It's like a credit system as opposed to, unless
disco time.
Sorry,
Sorry, the lights flickered for anybody who's
we're
just
experiencing
listening.
some technical difficulties here
It's
at
not
the
technical difficulty. The light just flickered. Happens. It's power surge. Anyways. Tell me how Audible works now.
So you get 1 credit per month with your subscription.
That's what a doctor gives you.
No shit.
Listen, don't come sarcastically at me when you said it.
So your subscription gives you a credit every month. That's what you're paying the subscription for. So you get a free book every month with your subscription, and then the more books you want to buy, you just have to like add them to your account.
Yeah.
And I think you can either pay through Amazon or Apple Pay or whatever device you're using.
But I would have to imagine that certain books are worth more credits than others.
Well, no. So that's
Because what if I wanted to listen to
it's-
the Harry Potter series?
if it's a
again?
credit, it doesn't matter. The credit will cover like anything.
Really?
Yeah, unless it's like some special edition something.
I might want to do that because I spend so much time in the car.
Get an audiobook?
And just redo the Harry Potter series
awesome.
for like the 8th time.
Audiobooks are awesome.
Yeah. Dude, I'm thinking about it. Did you get Disney Plus yet?
Yes.
So, what are your first thoughts of Disney Plus? Like so far out as of now, it's been out for like 3 or 4 months or something like that.
It could not be more tailored to our generation.
Oh, for sure. But I am literally furious with myself because
you have it.
I wish I waited. Because are you paying for it monthly?
No.
Okay. About 100% of the people I've talked to. So I'm just going to randomly assume 90% of people have Disney Plus for free right now. Because everybody's doing it through the Verizon, right? That's how you're doing it?
So the thing about Verizon is, because I looked up that Verizon thing, you have to have an unlimited data account.
I do.
So
that's how I'm doing it.
But if you have unlimited data, then you already have Disney Plus. You just sign in with Verizon.
For free?
Yeah.
Because the promotion
Period.
that I read was that if you have the Verizon Unlimited plan, you get it 1 year for free.
Correct.
And that's why I'm annoyed. Because I wish I waited because all the Marvel shit looks so good that's coming out. Because I just saw the commercial for the Super Bowl of all the shows.
Did you already pay?
What's that?
Are you currently using it with Verizon for free right now?
Right.
Okay.
Because the second that it came out,
Dude,
because I wanted to watch the
Mandarin.
Mandarin.
$70 for the year. That's the thing. You don't pay monthly. If you pay monthly, it's like $7 or $12.99.
Is it? Okay, that's not
Yeah.
bad.
But if you pay yearly, it's only $70.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. That's
No.
hard to be annoyed about that.
It's
then.
$5.99 a
But
month.
I just wish that I had
if
waited.
you pay upfront lump sum, it comes out to $5.99 a month.
Because as of right now, it's okay. And I'm a Disney freak. And
Mandalorian
you know I'm a Disney
was
freak.
amazing.
Mandalorian was amazing.
All the Marvel movies are on there.
All the Marvel movies are on.
The only problem with
All
Disney
the
Plus,
Disney movies are on.
The only problem with Disney Plus right now is that all of the agreements that Disney has with outside streaming services
Like Netflix,
have to
Hulu.
expire.
Yeah.
So that's why, like,
We got to see some of our favorite series end because the Marvel Netflix cinematic universe was amazing.
correct, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. I even liked Iron Fist.
I didn't like Iron Fist personally, but
I liked it. I think it was weird the way they ended it with
I'm
him
just not a
having
fan.
guns all of a sudden.
I'm just not
That
a
was
fan,
silly,
personally.
but I liked Iron Fist. But I also just really enjoy like the Kung Fu movie.
So do I,
So-
but I like maybe this is a little bit of the comic nerd coming out of me. I just never thought that Iron Fist was that interesting of a character. Like,
Well, that's fair.
yeah. So like that's what really gets me with him all the time too.
Okay.
Luke Cage I think is really cool, and
See,
just
I
his-
feel the way you feel about Danny is the way I feel about Luke Cage.
well, Luke Cage has an interesting
Actually,
story.
I do. You know what? I take that back. That's how I feel about Jessica Jones.
See,
Jessica Jones to me is the most useless thing in the Marvel universe.
Now, so here's the interesting part for me personally. I agree that Jessica Jones is probably the least interesting out of everybody because super strength. Who in the God's name does not have super strength?
Everybody has super strength, but my problem is the oh woe is me fucking nonsense of her being like, I'm so sad. I'm gonna drink.
But I think the show itself is actually one of the best shows. Dude, it's really good. There's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of breathtaking moments. Season 2 and
Daredevil and the Defenders were the only two
Defenders.
good shows.
I always have these problems with like you can't if you're going to talk about the Marvel movies, you can't include the Avenger movies because obviously the Avenger movies are going to be the best because they have everybody in them. It's the same kind of concept.
Okay,
where, like,
so then Daredevil was amazing.
yeah.
Luke Cage was pretty good. I just think
But
that
I think Jessica Jones was a good show.
I
show.
didn't like it. I think her friend is stupid.
Trish.
Yeah, I hate Trish.
Yeah.
Um,
Trish annoys the living shit out of me.
I
It's
will
like,
say
stay out of the way, bitch. You don't have
right,
any powers.
exactly. Like you're so
Get
annoying.
over it. Get
you're
over it.
so annoying. What's his name? The bad guy from the first season. Like her ex-boyfriend and
Kilgrave.
yes, thank you. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And he's just a good actor. Like I like him in a lot of other stuff
Doctor
too.
Who, bro.
Dude, forget Doctor Who. Have you seen
We need
Omens?
to forget Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Have you seen Omens?
No.
Bad Omens on Amazon?
No.
He's pretty funny in
Just,
that.
we just talked about how I haven't watched anything on Amazon.
All right.
Going full circle.
Have you seen? So it's him. He plays a demon, and that new show that has Jesus from The Walking Dead, where his dad is like a prisoner and he's a detective or whatever. The guy who plays Jesus' dad is an angel from heaven. And it's the two of them. They've been on Earth since like the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
One works for Satan, one works for God, and they've both just kind of like been keeping the balance.
Right.
And they became friends because they've just been around each other for millennia.
Sure.
And then like the end of days is coming, and like the Antichrist and all that shit, and the two of them start like working together to stop the end of days.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a comedy.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. Those two together are pretty good.
Well, yeah. Well, he's very good too, and it's like one of the few instances that I can recall that
He's a hateable dude in that show.
I can imagine.
No. I mean in Jessica Jones.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a hateable
But
dude.
it's one of the few times ever where the villain is significantly stronger than the hero. I mean,
Yeah.
all he has to do is talk to you.
Yep.
You know, like,
La 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 la
I'm
la
not
la.
listening. I'm not listening.
You can't make me do anything.
But I really enjoyed that series though.
The first season was pretty good, and then it all just kind of gone downhill.
But the second one with her, with Trish
and then they
shooting her
killed
mom,
Luke Cage
like, that
right.
was like,
See, like for me, Luke Cage started off slow and started to
Oh.
pick up speed,
yeah.
and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, Luke Cage is done."
But this ending of season 2 was what threw me off. That he's like now the leader of a gang.
He's the gangster.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, Luke Cage does have a street fighting gang. That is true. That they patrol the streets. I forget their names. It's like the Harlem Knights or something like that.
It's
But that is
Globetrotters.
the Harlem Globetrotters. That's a stop and crime. That's how they stop crime. No, but he does have a squad like that. But that whole like now he's gonna be the bad guy. Like that's how it ends in season 2. I was like, stop it.
Luke Cage is Luke Cage
So,
in.
I wonder if that probably won't work because they'll probably have
But
to.
how
like,
quick, dude? Luke Cage like stopped being Luke Cage and immediately got a boatload of work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the interesting thing about the actor for that was he was actually Halo Spartan. So Halo 5, the reboot. Came
Oh, he was
out.
the Spartan.
Yeah, he's Spartan Locke. So mid-project, Spartan Locke, they called him and they were like, "We want you to be Luke Cage in the Netflix series." And he went up to not Bungie. What is it now? It's not Bungie anymore. It's
Microsoft bought.
Is it no? Bungie didn't make the
Bungie
5.
started Halo.
Started 1, 2,
sold
3.
it to
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microsoft made that, and then Bungie made the last one.
Did they make 5?
Yes.
I believe you.
Because and I think Microsoft might have absorbed them or bought them or something so that they could make the last one.
Yeah, there was like a whole bunch of there was a whole bunch of different
I
stuff.
could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went down.
Yeah.
Bungie made the first 2. Microsoft bought the rights to Halo.
Bungie definitely made the first 3.
Did they make the first 3?
Yeah, because everybody yelled at Bungie for this one of the worst video game endings of all time by
In 3?
in 2, where it just ends.
Oh yeah.
He's falling from space in the spacecraft and he lands and no. He's not. He's jumping in the spaceship and he just goes, "I'm gonna take the battle to them."
End.
It's for those who don't play video games. It's considered one of the worst video game endings of all time. What? That wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
and then it goes into that. Yeah, after that, it goes into the other one.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Where were we? We were so anyways, so Spartan Locke got the call for the Luke Cage job mid motion capturing, and he was like, "Dude, like, what do I do? Like, this is like a opportunity of a lifetime. Get Marvel money, like, please." And I guess we're saying it's Bungie, but Bungie was like super cool about it. They were like, "Listen, we're gonna speed up your motion capturing," and they didn't even get all the motion capturing that they wanted, but they allowed him to go film that because they understood what a opportunity that is for him.
Yeah.
So, like, I just thought that was really cool. And that makes me think of, like, what gets you madder, right? Vin Diesel owning the rights of Fast and Furious.
Ugh.
Or Vin Diesel earning Marvel money. So there's two things here to undress before you say. I believe it's 6 when Vin Diesel buys the rights from, I think, like 20th Century Fox, I think, for the Fast and Furious movies. So anytime, I think we're at 9 now that's coming out with John Cena. That's his brother, which makes no sense, but sure, let's just run with it. He is making nothing but profit. Nothing but profit. Because somehow people still go see these movies.
It's absurd.
But does that get you mad? Or, well, it gets you mad. But is that get you madder than the fact that he makes a shit ton of Marvel money? And all he says is, I am Groot. Except for the one time that he said, we are Groot.
Which is completely out of canon because Groot never actually says that.
He can't. He doesn't have the ability to.
Right.
He can only say I and am and Groot and in that order.
Right. Ever. Period.
He's speaking a language, but
yes,
it's not a language that we understand.
And what's the language called? Is it just Groot?
I think it's Groot.
Because I remember
Groot.
Thor was like, they
I
taught Groot as an elective.
Yeah.
On Asgard.
Yeah. I took Groot as a
so good.
Yeah. That's the first. That's Infinity War, right?
Either Infinity War or Ragnarok.
No, it's Infinity War because that's when.
Are you sure? Because Ragnarok is when he goes to get the extra hammer. No.
Positive. Because Ragnarok is with him and Hulk. You don't meet the Guardians of the Galaxy in that movie. You only meet Guardians of the Galaxy in
Infinity War.
Infinity War, and the reason why they meet him.
You're right. Right. Yep.
Yeah. Come on. All things Marvel enter my realm. So which one gets you madder though?
I have to say, I'm more mad about Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Because it should have died with Paul Walker.
It should have. You or at least you would have thought so, Brian. Does it? But none of it makes.
No, I'm talking about Paul Walker. I'm not talking about Brian. I'm talking about when Paul Walker died.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious should have died.
Yeah, I refer to him as his character's name.
That's fair.
Yeah, is Brian, and I agree. It should have.
It wasn't.
But I'm gonna be honest with you.
It wasn't good after the first one.
Stop. The first Fast and Furious movie is good.
Yeah.
The first one is good.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you were insinuating that the first one was a bad movie.
No, I said after the first one. It hasn't been good since the first one.
Fair enough. Okay, that I agree with.
The first one was a good movie.
Even though it's a rip-off
and now,
Point Break.
That's beside the point entirely.
That's what it is.
It legitimately is. It has not been good since the first one, and they have literally, like, this poor cow has literally just been milked as much as you can.
But people keep going.
Oh, because people are idiots.
People keep going.
All of you are idiots.
All of you. You heard him say it.
You heard it. You heard it here on the Can I Finish podcast. People that like the Fast and the Furious movies are idiots.
Well, there goes any chance of us being a successful podcast. Thanks for watching. This is our last episode.
These comments are not brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer.
Which is also not a sponsor.
That's what I said. They're not brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer.
Which is also not a sponsor.
That's what I said. They're not brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer.
Which is also not a sponsor.
Correct, because they're not brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer.
Right, because they're also not a sponsor of the show.
That's exactly what I said.
But is it?
Yes.
Because it's not exactly what you said. It's exactly what you alluded to.
No.
It's not
What
exactly
I
what you
said was this is not brought to you by the Bud Light Seltzer.
You said that's exactly what you said. That's exactly what you were alluding to, but it's not exactly what you said. Boom, son. Get absolutely shook. Get shook.
I want a divorce.
Dude, why are you bringing your wife into this?
No, I meant from you. I hate you.
These twists and turns of my vocab are
Anyway,
amazing. So
to get back to your original question of whether or not I'm happy with Disney Plus, or how do I feel about Disney Plus?
Well, I was still on the Vin Diesel thing, but we can go back to Disney Plus.
Well, I mean, because Vin Diesel is just, like, he should die instead of Paul Walker. Like, I'd trade them in a heartbeat.
Holy shit, dude. Breathe.
In a heartbeat,
shit.
I would take them.
Dude,
I would
Vin
swap
Diesel's
them out.
actually a really good human being.
No, I'm sure he is.
He is an awesome father.
Except He's made 9 Fast and the Furious
He's
movies.
made 9 of them.
Which
And he's in
supersedes
7 of
anything
them.
he's ever done.
You know,
Like, literally supersedes everything he's ever done.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I like the Riddick trilogy.
you're like the only you're talking about the first one that's in black and white.
No, I'm talking about all of them.
So okay, so you're including the first one that's in black and white.
All 3 of the Riddick movies.
Okay, so you're including the first
Yeah,
one that's in black and white.
I liked all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Still trade him with Paul Walker because of how many Fast and the Furious movies they've done. In fact,
man.
anyone involved with
If Paul
more...
Walker was still alive, you know he'd still be in the movies.
I don't care. Anyone involved in more than 3 Fast and Furious movies should be dead.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. Including Ludacris.
Dude, Ludacris is like the best person in that. And for audio listeners, that was me shaking my head like violently.
Except for The Rock.
Yeah.
Because I think he did 2 and then he did Hobbs and Shaw.
Dude, The Rock, yeah, I know, which is a spin-off, which is only money for Vin Diesel in his pocket more.
So
and I think The Rock gets some of that money too.
So
Dude, The
awful.
Rock owns the rights to Jumanji,
Good for him.
right?
Good for him.
I love The Rock though. The Rock's number 3 celebrity I would want to meet.
Number 3.
Yeah, he's number 3.
Who's 1 and 2?
Rob Dyrdek and Joe Rogan. In that
Fuck
order.
is Rob Dyrdek?
Rob Dyrdek's ridiculous. Robin Big.
Oh my God, that's the number 1 celebrity.
I feel like me and Rob Dyrdek would get a lot. We have a lot in common. I feel like we get along very well.
He would hate you.
I disagree. I
think
think like
he
a
would
lot of our
hate you.
energies are the same and things like that.
I think he would look at you and go, "Why the fuck am I here?"
I disagree. I think he would be like, dude, you're a funny dude, and I would love to talk to you more. I'd be like, yeah, all right, it's cool, Rob. Plus, he's cool. Like, he's a really cool entrepreneur and things like that. Why? Who's your 1, 2, and 3? So I can pick it
Number 1
apart.
person you want to meet is a skateboarder who does a stupid Daniel Tosh ripoff.
Who was assigned to? Who's one of the youngest people ever signed as a pro contract at 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He owns 50% of DC shoes, which is when I was younger, I would wear DC shoes and DC hats all
I didn't
the time.
say he wasn't a good skateboarder.
No, I never said that you didn't. I'm
Weird that that's your number 1 celebrity.
But then again, I wouldn't want to meet someone who's like super duper famous because I think they'd be a prick. Like I think Rob Dyrdek would be a cool guy to hang out with. Like the benefit of my number 1 personally is that like I would want to hang out with that person, like have a drink with that person.
But there's a difference between wanting to meet somebody and wanting to hang out with that person.
But I'm using the same. Like,
But that's my point.
If you
Is
get to
like
hang
there's
out with somebody for a day.
there's a totally
my
that's a
wants and-
totally different.
But my ranking doesn't change though. Those are the people I would want to meet. Like I feel like I would get along with those people very well.
Okay.
Who are your 1, 2, and 3 so I can make fun of you?
Don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
Because it's totally different it's totally different scenario.
Okay, so
Like
use
if I'm
both
just
different
if
scenarios.
I'm just going someplace,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh my God, that's a celebrity.
Yeah.
And I get to say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So uninteresting that you
Yeah.
can't even name one.
Don't know.
All right, so if you want to hang out with
But
somebody,
somebody to hang out with
Yeah.
for or have a drink with,
yeah,
in no particular order.
sure.
Because I can't give you a 1, 2, and 3.
It's totally fine.
I would want to have a beer with George Bush.
Okay.
Because I feel like as awful as he was as a president, he's probably the coolest dude on the planet to hang out with and just have a beer with.
Okay.
Rock.
Okay. We can agree on that.
Yep, definitely want to hang out with The Rock. Because he's just a cool dude.
And the nicest human being.
Yeah, he's just a cool dude.
Plus, my AAM screen name was The Rock Fan 413.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate you.
Dude, I was huge into wrestling. Dude, my XFL fantasy football team, the People's Elbow, guys. The People's Elbow. I am the People's Elbow.
For the record, folks, you heard that correctly.
Absolutely.
His XFL fantasy football
And
team.
he acts like he's not in the league.
Oh, no, I'm in the league.
We wanted to do just kind of shake things up, especially because now football season's over.
And
Decided to do
honestly,
an
who
XFL
really
season.
wants to play fantasy baseball?
Right, even though it's very popular.
It's not. It's stupid.
it's
People
very
who play it are
popular.
stupid.
Dude, you're so like, I hate you. XFL.
Hot takes. JR's hot
Dude,
takes.
can we be the official XFL fantasy podcast? Has that that can't be taken already, right? Can we just proclaim that?
We'll just do it now.
Right, okay, we proclaimed we are the XFL.
You realize that now I have to release this episode this week.
Even if you don't, I think we'll be okay.
Even if there are like 3 episodes before this,
I
we're
think
gonna be
we're fine.
okay.
I don't think
5, 6, and 7 still need to come out.
No.
But we're okay.
No, yeah. Dude, we're in a league with
There's only 10 games in the season.
yeah, with 8 teams and 8 people in a fantasy league where it's purely shit talking. So get ready for a weekly update of me talking shit about everyone's team.
So bad.
It's so good. It's so good.
I just love how myself included, people sabotaged our draft.
Yeah, well, I like that you say
Myself included.
myself included. It's only you. It's you and Joe. The 2 of you are the only ones to draft. I didn't even think to draft more than 1 quarterback and 1 defense.
Yeah.
That never even went through my mind.
So in a league of 8 teams with 8 people,
How many quarterbacks do you have?
I have 3 starting quarterbacks.
How many defenses do you have?
2 starting defenses. I'm open to trades.
A scumbag move.
I honestly don't know if all 3 of them are starting quarterbacks, but on the depth chart list that I looked up, they were all starting quarterbacks. So I picked them.
How did So what do you think of Disney Plus?
44 minutes into this thing, we're on Disney Plus. I like Disney Plus. I like the fact that it has all the cartoons and stuff that
Yeah.
I liked as a kid.
I love that too.
I think that's awesome. I think the original content is so for now.
The only original content I've seen is the Mandarin.
The Mandarin, the Orange,
What? What'd I say? The Mandarin.
the
What'd you say?
Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You know Mandarin?
Yeah, no idea where I am. Where am I?
So like the actual The Mandalorian. I almost said Mandalorian, you son of a bitch. The Mandalorian is a really good show.
Yeah.
But like Jon Favreau, it's very hard for him to miss on
Dude,
something.
This guy is incredible
So
and
hard
does
for him to
not
miss.
get the credit that he
No,
deserves.
he's
the
fantastic.
first Iron Man.
Almost everything in the Marvel Universe has his name on it.
Yeah. Him and the Russo brothers. But he started it all. Farvo started it all.
Favreau.
I know, but Farvo.
Farvo.
Yeah.
It's Ron Farva.
Yeah.
So, The Mandalorian's really
Brett
good.
Favreau.
I haven't really gotten in depth into the other original content, other than Jeff Goldblum.
I love
The
Jeff
World
Goldblum.
According to Jeff Goldblum is pretty freaking funny.
I love Jeff Goldblum,
Because he's
dude.
just a weird dude.
He's a whack job.
Are you a sneakerhead or do you really like sneakers?
I used to be a
Okay.
sneakerhead.
There's an episode he does about sneakers.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I believe
he
you.
goes
I
to
used to buy designer.
he goes to Adidas,
the British way of saying Adidas.
the correct way of saying Adidas.
Adidas, because it's the guy's last name.
Correct. He goes to their headquarters. I burped.
We got you.
So he goes to their headquarters and gets like custom sneakers made for him, but he has to like put on special sneakers with sensors in them and run across the room.
Yeah.
Watching Jeff Goldblum run is quite possibly something that like you can see and then die happy.
Remember the rumor that people used to say that Adidas stand for All Day I Dream About Sports?
Yes, there was also the reason why the Crips like Adidas is because it stands for All Day I Disrespect Slobs, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
And a slob is a blood.
I don't know why. I just thought you were gonna say something like really like.
No.
rude.
That's just
I don't know if you saw my face while I was like, oh no.
And JR and Billy got hit by the Crips.
But yeah, Billy. For the record, I'm wearing blue and I did nothing.
No, I think that's what it stood for, and that's why like the Crips wore Adidas.
Really?
Is like they use that as like All Day I Disrespect Slobs or something like that. Yeah, all slobs or I don't remember. What it is.
I love when people come up with that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the
Because
word
you know,
we're gonna use.
one person had to think of it and be like, "Do you know what I heard?" And try
I
to
think
pass
we
it
should
off
all
as-
just wear Adidas because this is what it could stand for, and then like an entire gang, like a nationwide gang, goes, yeah, sure.
Well, no, even better than that, right? So the Adidas rumor, all day I dream about sports. One person must have thought of that, and was like tried to pass that information off as like actual information. He's like, dude, I heard like all day I dream about sports, and that person was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense.
That's
So-
like, you know what Budweiser stands for, right?
What?
Because you deserve what every
You spelled with a
individual.
Y.
It's a you. Because you deserve what every individual should enjoy regularly.
Wow. So someone had to make that up and then pass it along.
That is Budweiser. That's what it stands for.
And it caught so much traction that a lot of people have heard that. But patient zero would be like, haha.
Adidas.
Like, I made that up, and
Yeah.
look, and everybody
Look
believes
at all these
that.
idiots because it's this guy's last name and it's Adidas.
Right. Like, that to me, that's like the ultimate win.
Yeah.
So,
To answer your question, I like Disney Plus. The description on this episode is going to be one bullet point. Minute 01, Disney Plus. Minute 48, new topic.
Well, you also have to cut out like the first 4 minutes of you effing everything up.
Minute 44, new topic.
I saw the James Asker. I hope I said that correctly. For his new Netflix stand-up special, and his opening preview for it, I thought was really interesting. He was talking about how he thinks it's weird that museums will put something on display, and underneath that display will have like a little reading, like a little description, where it will tell you where it's from and how important it is to that society. And so the joke that he makes is that the people from like Africa, where like the artifacts are found from, will come there, and like the skit that he does is like, all right guys, like wait in the car. Don't worry, I don't need any help. I'm just gonna go up there and I'm gonna ask for our stuff back. And then he goes, so then in the skit he goes like, so he's like, hey, like see my stuff there. I just want it back. And then he goes, hey, he's acting like as the museum head,
Curator.
and he goes, well, we're not done looking at it yet. So finders keepers, losers weepers. It closes the door. And I was thinking about that. That's really interesting to think about, right? Because that's really what a museum is.
Yeah.
It's all this stolen shit from all these other places in the world, especially like the British museums, because like of how much older the country is than everybody else's.
And the British Empire.
And the British Empire and all that. So they've collected like all these like...
You also have the Holy Roman Empire involved because that like went all the way to Britain.
Right. So you have like all these really historic...
Mike's mini history lessons.
Coming up soon. Have all these like pieces of history.
Right, all these artifacts.
And then like posted on the wall, posted underneath where it comes from. So like you're admitting that it's not from
stole
here.
this from here.
Right. And that's his joke. That's what he's saying. So he's like, we stole it from here. This is how important it is to these people.
But we're going to keep it.
But we're not giving it back.
Right.
And like
That's a pretty funny take on it.
It's a pretty funny take on it, but you know what? And I was sitting there, right? And I'm like, I hear it, and I'm like, that's a really good point. You know what I mean?
Bloody hell.
Yeah. Because apparently that did happen where people...
What's the scene from Eurotrip? Pretty good, lads.
Pretty damn good! Dude, the great movie. Yeah. My baby takes the morning train. I could do that whole song, but I'm not going to. I just thought that was a really interesting point. But I guess that, like, isn't that the point of comedy, right? You have to throw, like, an interesting point out there. And
right.
then, like, it has to be somewhat true.
Yeah, it's something that people look at. That's essentially the essence of comedy, is taking something that everybody sees and presenting it in a new way that now becomes funny.
Yeah. All right, before we close up here, you want to play a little Billy Fake News?
Okay.
JR, you've been struggling a little bit.
I struggled hard.
I want you to get a win today. Passing grade is going to be 4.
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
Okay.
4 out of 10. Today's Billy Fake News is brought to you by no one But if you want to, it could
Not
be you.
brought to you by Bud Light Lime Seltzer.
Which I'm gonna have to say it now. Natty Ice is better. They didn't pay me to say that,
Natty Ice only has 2 flavors.
and it's still better.
It's apples to oranges.
Anyways.
He drinks the Bud Light Seltzer.
This Billy fake news is going to be album covers edition. Is the image that I'm going to be looking at on an album cover, or did I make it up?
Oh, Christ. I don't know music.
Well, trust
All right,
me,
let's do this.
even if you knew every song in all of history, I don't know that you would be able to
I don't know the album art.
like the album art, and these are not famous people for the most part.
Oh, fuck you.
So let's start us off.
All right.
The very first album cover
Fake.
is a baby that is just
Holding a coconut?
sitting upright. It's a fake baby. It's a doll.
Okay.
And it's just holding a fist in the air. And it's on the top right corner, the name of the band. And then right underneath it says, I Punch You.
What's the name of the band?
It is Jamul Books and the Music and Movies.
What?
Jamul, Jamul, Books, Books, and A-N-D, Music, M-U-S-I-C, and A-N-D, Movies, M-O-V-I-E-S.
Can't believe you fucking spelled everything out.
Well, you you want to be difficult, so I will be difficult.
Real.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
I tried to make it very obvious for you by spelling everything. It is real. This is a real album cover in which it's just a baby, and it says, I Will Punch You. That's the album, and, like, this is the information. So
I hate it. I hate it.
most
so
will
much.
agree I gave you that one, because I wanted to set you off on the right
No,
track.
I wanted to make sure that you weren't full of shit. That's why I said
That's why I
Repeat
spelled
it.
every word, because I figured you wouldn't think that I would spell things that fast.
just
I'm
broke
not
the
going to make
table.
them. Yeah, I saw that a little bit.
Got it.
Now I am not going to spell anything for you.
Fake. Final answer.
The next one
Fake.
is a photo of
fake.
a puppet
It's fake.
with gray hair,
It's fake.
with its eyes closed,
Also fake.
cuddling
Not true.
a woman
Incorrect.
with her eyes closed.
Also fake.
And on there just says Amen.
What's the name of the band?
Beverly Massage.
Fake.
Final answer?
Yes.
Wrong. That is 100% real. I am looking at the image.
That's creepy.
That is very creepy.
That's super creepy. Why is it Amen? What's the title track? I lost my
That
husband.
I don't have.
I lost my husband. Now I have this dummy.
Most likely, yeah. And the dummy's name is Eric, I assume, because I don't know who else would be named Eric.
I don't want it, Billy.
You are 1-1. Next one. This is a fucking image of a guy in a Santa outfit. It is not of this language. It is definitely a different language. So if you ask me what it says, I could not tell you. He is at a table with a whole bunch of stews, and he's holding sausages and onions, and there's a Christmas tree in the back. That's it.
Fake.
So your final answer. Yes. You were wrong again. It's 100% real.
Clapapa.
I told you, it's definitely not this. It's definitely not this language. Thor Skamus Julisvik.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thor Scotsman's. You ever heard of Thor?
Next one. You were
Okay.
1 and 2. Come on, man. I made it a 4 passing grade. I don't know why you're like rolling your eyes. This one is 3 guys known as the Fat Boys, with 3 guys in a line holding different types of food, with a pizza in front of them, with them again in miniature version eating the pizza.
Fake. Fake. Final answer, fuckface.
It's real.
No, it's not. Stop it.
It's 100% real. It's 100% real. It's 100% real. Holy shit. Oh, I can't wait to post these so you guys can see them. This is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god. Anyways.
I hate it.
You are 1 and 3.
I know. I hate it.
Right? 1 and 3? Wrong. Yeah, right, wrong. Holy shit, dude. Oh, it's so fucking funny. Alright, this next one. The title is Company Flow. Underneath is just like a whole bunch of scribbling on it. It's a red background with 2 men laying in the street as to appear dead with a baby and a paper bag over the baby's head running towards the album cover, making it appear that the baby is running from the murder.
That's too far-fetched. I want to say fake.
Is that your final answer?
No, I'm going to go real.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
The answer is real. That is 100% real.
Oh, what is that?
But it like makes it look like the baby like ran away from the murder.
That's
like
so weird.
it's so weird. It's so weird.
I hate it. I hate it, Billy. Stop it.
Welcome to Billy's Fake News.
I'm what, 2 and 3?
You are 2 and 3. Only 2 more, and you can get a pass, bro. You can get a pass. This one is a weird version of like almost like the Iron Giant, but it has like a mannequin like head instead of the Iron Giant head, and it's holding people in its hands with one of them bleeding through its chest.
Okay, hang on, stop. Start again.
Okay, this one is what seems to be the Iron Giant almost, but
Right.
instead of the Iron Giant head, it's like almost like a mannequin head.
Okay.
It's holding people in its hands, with one of the people bleeding from the chest, and on the other hand has a blood stain, implying that the Iron Giant like thing poked a hole through the guy's chest.
What?
For audio listeners, he has never seemed so distraught in his life.
What's the name of the band?
I cannot give it to you.
Fake.
Is that your final
Yes.
answer? It is real. The reason why I couldn't give it to you is because it's a Queen album.
Oh, it's the fucking... Really?
You are 2 and 4. We have 4 left. You only need 2 to pass. You're in here, bro. You're in here. You're in here. This one is an image of a man having sex with a woman, from what I can tell. Obviously you don't see anything. It's just like blankets are covered, and it's him standing with the blanket going around his waist, and then the woman coming out, and it says like, "Ay papi corico." Name of the band is Too Hot to Stop.
I hate this. I don't like this game.
It's a fun game.
Fake.
Final answer?
Yeah.
He's fake. He's on it.
Yes!
He's on it. That's a Bill makeup. 3 left. I went to pause, but you went to high five it, which I appreciate. Never leave me hanging. Never leave me hanging. Never leave me hanging. Appreciate you. 3 left. Only need 1. 1 for a pass, cuz.
3 and 4, baby.
3 and 4. 1 for a pass. Oh, phone locked.
Oh no.
Okay. Beep, boop, beep. This one is an album cover of The Moon. Most would think that's just it. That's what I would think. On closer inspection,
I hate everything about this description. I already hate everything about this description. I hate you. I don't like this. Most would think that's all there is.
On closer
I would
inspection,
think.
you would think, or excuse me, because you were saying I would think, you would think. On closer inspection, you'll see that there are astronauts playing on the moon. But they're not playing things that you think that they're playing. One of them is playing baseball. Interesting, like, there's one throwing it, the other one's hitting it.
Sure.
The other one is doing splits and doing cartwheels.
I hate this freaking game. What?
Sure. That's what people do on the moon. You never been to the moon, bro?
Real.
Final answer?
Yes.
100% fake. I'm just convincing with my fucking weird thoughts. 2 left. Only need 1 for the pass.
I gotta hate you.
This next one is 4 guys. 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. Looking at each other. All in white shirts, black ties. Real effing nerdy looking guys.
Say this again. I'm sorry. Start again.
It's just a picture.
Right.
4 guys.
Right.
Staring at each other.
Uh-huh.
They all have like the FBI look with the thick glasses, white t-shirts, black ties.
Okay.
That's essentially it.
Hats or no hats?
No hats.
No hats.
And it's Oh How I Need Thee. It's the album cover that you can look up on your own time.
Oh, how I need thee.
Yeah.
How many do I have left?
You have 2 left.
Real.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
JR, you have officially won your first ever game. Billy's Fake News. Yeah! Yeah! Vindication!
I'm alive!
The last one was going to be a lie, so we don't have to do it.
Awesome.
You did it, dude. You did it. How's it feel to be a winner? I just hadn't made it 4 out of 50-50 option.
I hate you.
That is a lie. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Can I Finish podcast. As always, we would love to hear more from you, so feel free to like, comment, and subscribe at the bottom. I've been your host, Billy Mack. This has been JR. We appreciate you guys, even though JR doesn't.
He's not wrong. I hate all of you. That's a good way to end it.
No. You know what they say.
When life hands you a Jeffrey, stroke the furry wall.
I live my life a quarter second at a time. That's it.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. If you have any suggestions or topics for us to cover, email us at 4guysmedianetwork@gmail.com. If you're on the go, you can subscribe to our shows on iTunes. Be sure to check out our Patreon page, 4Guys Media Network, for access to exclusive content like minisodes and more. We have a lot of goals to hit, so we can keep improving and continue providing more content ad-free. So all of your donations are greatly appreciated. Make sure you subscribe to the 4Guys Media Network YouTube channel for all of our other projects by clicking the link on the right. And lastly, if you want to watch another episode, just click the link on the left. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.